said they'll vigorously defend themselves in court next month. Barclays says it's considering its position. I spoke to Nina Trentman, news editor of the Wall Street Journal here in London, and she told me more about the investigation.
Barclays was looking at trying to find an alternative solution to its or providing itself with additional funds in the meltdown of the financial system that we saw in 2008. Barclays came up with finding its own sources of capital, which at the time was, of course, seen as a positive because it meant that Barclays did not have to tap into taxpayer funds. But as it's been raised before, and this has been an ongoing investigation for a while, the dealings that Barclays had with its Qatari investors were, at least according to the Serious Fraud Office and also other regulators, not according to what they should have done.
But what do you actually think prompted the Serious Fraud Office's investigation? Was there any element of information you think that they came across to prompt this inquiry?
Yes, I guess there was initially quite a lot of information that they received. Comes, of course, at a difficult time for the Serious Fraud Office because it's over the past couple of years has lost quite a number of prominent cases, and Prime Minister Theresa May has in the past suggested that the agency could be folded into another crime-fighting agency, which, well, within the Serious Fraud Office, of course, is not an idea that people are very fond of. So this is, of course, a very important case for the Serious Fraud Office against Barclays.
What appears to be crucial in this investigation is a loan advanced to Qatar after the fundraising for the bailout, essentially, was negotiated. And there are allegations that this was a kind of bung, really. Barclays handing Qatar some of the money it was using to support the British bank. And they've proved that, of course, would go against many rules and regulations.
Yeah, that's one of the charges that the Serious Fraud Office has raised. It's with regards to this loan facility that you mentioned that Barclays made to the state of Qatar, acting through the Ministry of Economy and Finance in November 2008, which was very, very soon after the capital raise and the capital injection that it received from Qatari investors. The second point is that the Serious Fraud Office is currently looking at is Barclays said that it had paid around 322 million in advisory services to Qatari investors, which initially wasn't disclosed after the capital was raised. And so I guess that also, of course, led to this deal coming under quite some scrutiny.
At the time, though, Barclays was lauded for its ability to really withstand the financial crisis while other banks were falling apart around them. Some would say that actually it's in the other banks whose shareholders massively lost out after parts of those banks were nationalised that really the spotlight should be pushed on, not Barclays, where actually shareholders emerged relatively unscathed.
Of course, it would have been another strain for public finances if Barclays at the time had also required money from taxpayers and had required a government bailout. But of course, this thing now puts it a bit into perspective that at least this self-help that Barclays gave to itself at the time was not as spotless as we might have thought at the time.
Nina Trentman there. We've had talk of a hard Brexit.